Welcome back to the studio right here at Lagos Talks 91.3 FM. The time is 10 minutes to the top of the hour. We're running through Lagos Weekly today, and today we're looking at environment. Many of you will imagine that this should be on the Clay Project. We are looking at the work of the Ministry of Environment. Of course, here with us this morning is the Special Advisor on Environment to the Governor of Lagos State, Honorable Kunle Rotimi Akodu. Thank you for joining us this morning. So, talking about pollution, you decided to focus on single-use plastic. Now, for clearer understanding, what really makes up single-use plastic? Is it the bottled water, the PET, the pure water sachet, the PEP? What do you call this? Is this styrofoam?
Styrofoam.
Yeah, styrofoam. You know, what really is single-use?
Thank you. As the name implies, it's simple. Products or items produced to be used once and then discarded or recycled afterwards. So once you use it once, the intent is you discard it. You understand? It's just it started with the idea of making life easy. Sharp. You move from here to there. Eat. You don't need to take care. No, back in the day when you were going, you have your flask, you have your items, you have your food pack that you can use and continue to reuse. But nowadays, when you're even going to Kingsway, they give you things, carrier bags that are, reusable.
So in this case...
So single use are just designed to be used once. And discarded or recycled.
So in this case, pure water sachet is a single-use plastic.
It's a single-use.
So are we going to ban the use of pure water as well?
No, we've said that often than not because of its socio-economic impact on the people, on the society. So we've been able to coin a way. We have a very solid recovery plan for the pure water sachet and PET bottles. Now, there's even a bigger, recycling, outfit for pure water. You now see people going around picking the pure water, stretch it out, and put it in bales. They put it in bales, and they go to weigh it. You understand? Similarly, plastic bottles, so those ones are recyclable. You understand? It's not like they're not recyclable. Not all the nylons too are also recyclable.
I was coming
to
that. But
people are not interested in some. They just ignore it. Especially those ones that are less than 40 microns. Very light, like the ones of Aboki we used to sell. That black one. Yeah. Who cares? All the plastic spoons and cutleries, once you use it once and they throw it away. It goes back to it again. And, stuff like that. You have the straws. Who retrieves them? Nobody. Those are single-use plastics that we're after, that we're banning for now. And that is to couple the earlier ban on styrofoam.
Use like of plastic spoons?
Yes. Those,
it's no longer allowed.
Those disposable plastic spoons, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So those ones that they use in parties at times, children's parties, those ones you can't?
You can't. You will not find them in the market.
Wow.
Soon.
So now what are you then doing with the producers?
Yes, we've had several meetings. The producers have no issue. We have come to terms, with all of these things, and they agreed that it's high time we moved on from where we are now.
So how do you move on? Because they are not closing down their companies. They still need to.
They have to change their processes and produce what we approve. You understand? We're talking about thickness. We're talking about producing items that are reusable.
But
because in the basic waste management, principles. We have 3 hours, we have 5 hours, we have 7 hours. All of them springing up from 3 hours, which is you have to reduce waste.
Okay.
You have to reuse. You have to factor in reuse
of
waste,
yes, and
recycling of waste. So, pick the first leg. That is to even reduce the waste. When you reduce the waste, Lagos is generating about 13,000 tons daily. That's humongous. That's huge. So how do we first reduce it? You understand? So there are things we can do away with. And if you look at the waste content, you will see that the SUPs that are of no value, of less value, not recycling, not that they are not recyclable, that people don't recycle. Those are the ones that constitute a huge volume. In senior climbs, in advanced climbs, they ban all of this. They don't even think about it again. They've gone beyond all of this. We're just trying to do.
But I have a concern here, because I often say this, that everything, not everything, a lot of things that work well abroad, when it gets to Nigeria, it becomes an aberration. It's something that shouldn't even.
Why do you think that is happening?
So I'm coming to that. So now, the ban might have come into place now. How do we ensure that this ban is not abused? Because you're saying that if you're producing a certain level of maybe thickness, that is still allowed. Your officers, if they go out there, how are we sure? What have you put in place to make sure that they don't abuse the people? Because we see that every time on the streets with traffic agencies and a lot of these other organizations. With how are you doing that?
Thank you. We have a very potent feedback system. You understand? And look at the women in the market, the companies producing it, the suppliers, down the supply chain. We have had meetings upon meetings and series of meetings with them. They know what is permissible. They know what is prohibited. So if you go out and harass them based on what is permissible, the market women will tell the supplier will tell the industrialist, there's the producer, that they want to, those ones will get back to us. So we will track whoever is trying to do that. There are established, protocols to check all of these things and to see that abuses are not, we don't allow abuse to creep into the whole exercise.
Now, rather than ban, we've seen in other parts of the world where biodegradable plastic bags are used. Are we considering that at all for us in Nigeria?
Thank you. We are not just considering it. It's already in play. And if you go to supermarkets and things like that, you see them trying to sell bags to people. And we've gotten complaints and all of that. And
they say you give them the directive.
No.
Oh, the directive didn't come from Lagos State.
The directive is take your bag to wherever you want to buy items. Collect it in your own bag. Take it home. When you are done with your items, wash your bag, clean it and keep it. Then when you want to go again, still reuse it. Now, if for one reason or the other you are not taking your own bag along, and you now expect somebody to solve that or make that provisions for you, then that fellow has every right to charge you if you are not shifting your own responsibility to.
So it's like, in order to deter people from going to supermarkets without taking their bag along, you empower or encourage. You encourage the supermarket
natural market force. It's not about empowering or encouraging or. It's just not where there's gap.
So you didn't give the directive that they should charge.
No. Once you identify a gap and you are providing solution to fill that gap, then you can charge based on your solution. Whoever is living in his own house, office, or from wherever, to go to supermarket or market, whatever, to make purchases, and you are not going with your bag, you have already created gap there. And if the fellow selling to you now wants to fill that gap, otherwise you can take your items in your hand. As I'll take it in my hand. Well,
how reasonable would that be?
It depends on what you're buying.
To buy a lot of items, and
if you know you are buying a lot of items, you should have that in your plans before you have an issue, before you leave your house. Then you take the bag along that will contain your items. I was in Bonn, Germany, 2 weeks back, and every supermarket I entered, what I get is, "Are you with your bag, sir?" I say no. Then they show me options of bags. About 3-4 options, from the cheapest to the most expensive. That, do you want to buy this? Do you prefer this? Because they will charge that along with whatever I'm buying. So it's not just limited to.
Okay. From what we've said now about this, the implementation of this single use, we are all out of time already. But we'll just see if we can still about 2 minutes more. From the implementation of this single use plastic, what we've seen is that it is not necessarily about the volume of production or about the tons of the tonnage of the waste that we generate. It feels like it is more about the culture of the people. And that's why I'm asking you this question. If all these sachets, this single-use plastic, if you were not finding them on the streets in our gutters, would that have been a problem to the Lagos State government? would you have had any reason to ban or to even implement this ban on single-use plastic?
Okay, thank you once again. Where there is no issue, there's no cause for alarm. If we have, there are things that we're not seeing. You're only disturbed by the things you see or you feel that disturbs you. You understand? If those things are, if from our research and analysis of the waste content, waste mix, if we have not seen, if those things are not visibly, constituting nuisance, we would have channeled our efforts to somewhere else. Why are we wasting all of this energy, effort, sensitization, going to markets, going to companies, calling manufacturer associations of Nigeria to meetings, calling, different bodies and unions of that have one thing or the other to do with single-use plastics. We've had several meetings. This is 18 months now after we ban styrofoam.
Yeah.
We would have just gone ahead and banned everything at once. But we have to factor the people into it. Their way of life, they're used to already these things. And for you to withdraw or to change them, change is the only constant.
So if our lifestyle was right, there wouldn't have been need to ban. What are you then doing to ensure that we change our lifestyle?
That's simple. We will need to continue to encourage people to embrace, the way the approaches that are laid down by government. They are the best for us. They are the safest for us. They encourage hygiene practices. They encourage safe practices. They ensure that these are sustainable practices, and we keep communicating all of these things. I know it's difficult to change, but we have to just change it's a cultural thing. And once you start enforcement, most often our people don't comply except they see that you're serious. And how will they see seriousness in you? Is when you start enforcing. So they start, moving away from. Otherwise, no matter what you do, whatever you tell them, the comfort of that zone of habit, it seems to be difficult to move away from. But once they say enforcement and they don't want to be embarrassed, you start, complying.
All right.
So
I wish we were able to engage some of our listeners this morning, but unfortunately, we are not able to. Messages are coming in, but this is a part one. It would be nice if we can have you again next week to continue this conversation, but we'll have that discussion off air to see how we could get you back into the studio.
I'm always yours.
Yeah, all right. Great. And, all right. Thank you so much for coming through, Honorable